So what does one do with Demon Blast? Like, because other people also had like a Demon Blast issue. So
Yeah.
I'll just like clip this soundbite in the Discord server, okay?
Okay.
So just tell advice. You have Demon Blast. So here's a problem. So here's the clip starts, right? I have Demon Blast. I
Yeah.
blast, but I hate the person who blasts, right? I feel like that guy's the
Wait,
bad guy. As in
you hate, oh, you hate you when you're blasting?
yeah, because when I see someone else blasting, it's like that guy's a bad guy. You see?
I know. I
And
know.
I'm
I
the
get
good
it.
guy. I'm the
I
good guy. I
know.
cannot blast,
Right.
but this guy is a bad guy because he's blasting, and
Right. I get it.
I don't have the permission to blast. So the decider version is, oh, this guy's a bad guy. I don't want to be like him. I'm a good guy, right? The observer
Right.
version of that is, oh, I have blast, but I don't have like the permission to like blast
Yeah.
because whenever I blast, because I don't want that restriction put on me. You see, I want to be
Right.
free, so I let him be free. But if
Right.
I let him be free, he's fucking up your freedom. So now it's
Right.
like you're getting fucked. You see, now what? Now what does one do?
Okay. So all of that, back to default wiring, all of that is under the assumption that you, as the consumer, are this nice, free little skipping, I don't know, fairy, right? Everything you do is positive and you just exude positivity.
Yeah.
You're not actually seeing the reality. And the joke is, if there was another consumer and you both were trying to meet up and go somewhere to hang out, you would fucking hate the other guy because you'd be like, dude, this guy's a fucking dick. He won't respond. He won't talk. He won't explain anything. He won't share what he's doing. And so we all have to sit around and be massively controlled. That's the joke. Everyone has to sit staring at a wall because we all don't know when the king god will grace us with his information. We have no idea what this asshole is doing. He'll never tell us where he's going to be, when he's going to be there, what we're going to actually do. Therefore, what ends up happening is the tribe has to fill the role of blaster asshole, the bad guy, and say, look, dude, we haven't heard from you, so we are going to move on. So I'm not just sitting here wasting my life staring at a wall. I have to go eat. I have to go to my thing that I wanted to go to. Me and the other people in this crowd, we are going to move on without you. And that's what ends up happening because the other person who's not communicating is really just a bump on a log. It's not a nice guy. It's very abusive.
Mm,
And that's the joke is that, of course, there's abusive people that are blasters that are controlling assholes. And of course, you can think of every teacher you had growing up that's super controlling and super
mm,
annoying and barking at everybody, controlling everybody. Of course, everybody can come up with the blaster, Dale die example. Everybody can come up with that. Anyways, the negative side of consuming is just this selfish ass that is sitting there in their own space, in their own world, that won't stop gobbling up shit for themselves. They
mm,
refuse to ever actually communicate and say, here's what I'm going to do, here's where I'm going to be, here is my plan. So it lets everyone else be free. And that's
mm,
the joke is that the second you become a source of freedom for the tribe, because you're the one playing the I'm going to plan and help you be free role, guess what? You now get what you want more. You now get freedom more. You now get leverage more because
mm,
you have decided to work with others and put yourself in their shoes. I mean, that's part of the DE role is what the hell is the other guy going through?
mm,
You think from your perspective, you can see from their perspective that you're being the nice guy. How is it actually from their perspective? What are they actually going through? Well, actually, they sat there, they cursed my name, and they went, fuck this guy because he won't communicate. And then, of course, every fucking EP, OE, myself included, shows up to the party late, like, hey, everybody. And everyone's like, fuck you. Like, fuck
mm,
that guy. I hope you don't have any food. I hope there's no food left. I hope there's nothing. Like, I hope all the fun already happened. Screw you. But they'll never say that to your face. And that's why you keep being able to get away with it. It
mm,
keeps coming off like I show up whenever I feel like, when all of the other options have closed down for me, when all of the we fun time has been closed in a box, then I will finally act. Then I will finally move. And by that time, the actual option that's left, everyone on the outside of me is like, fuck you. They won't say that to your face, They'll absolutely be like, hey, dude, so glad you can make it. And you'll never know that slowly, you're burning down everyone around you because of your lack of control, as well as you're literally telling the universe, cut off options for me because I
Mm,
won't do it. Therefore, you get to choose. I don't get to choose. I'll
mm,
just literally get myself controlled by the universe choosing. You no longer have all of these options because you didn't pick ahead of time. It's literally coming to a display of food late. So
mm,
everybody already picked the good stuff, but you wanted to hold out because maybe there was another display of food. Maybe there was more options somewhere else. And by the
mm,
time you show back up to reality, all options are taken away for you. You're not the nice guy when you over abuse the consuming. You're actually end up being such a dick. And this is with every single function, of course.
yeah,
Balance. Oh my God, balance.
yeah,
But that's what it ends up looking like. So once you finally see the problem, now that I've
yeah,
completely overdone the
yeah,
problem,
yeah.
now you have to go, holy shit. So actually, those kindergarten teachers or how, fifth grade teachers, those assholes that are such controlling dicks are actually really helpful. That
Ah,
that the communicator plays is a
mm,
beautiful thing because they're just constantly making sure everyone is aware of the plan.
mm,
Therefore, we can all get involved ahead of time, back and forth with the tribe, because that's what the DE is responsible for doing. Let's do this
mm,
back and forth with the tribe. Let me make sure, and the blast, let me make sure everybody is on the same plan so that we
mm,
can work together moving forward on this same plan. And
mm,
therefore, there's no surprises, and
mm,
everyone is getting their needs met, and everyone is happy. When you can see that that's actually the positive side of what the blaster is doing, you're like, oh shit, I'm not covering that giant board of reality. And therefore, every moment of silence that I've punished people around me with is me being a giant fucking asshole. It's not cute. It's not the nice guy. It's not me. I just don't want to control. I don't want to bother you. Shut the fuck up. You are bothering people. You're bothering people by not communicating and allowing them a voice. That's really what it's about.
okay, so let me like be the bad guy here, right? And say, Shan, I
Yeah.
get that, right? But what the fuck do I do? Give me the DE tips, I don't want this
Okay.
bullshit. Tell me what do I do? Yeah.
How do you do it? I'll
Mm,
tell you how I did it. So,
mm,
first of all, being around Dave is just an absolutely, at first, it was like constantly triggering, but now it's a beautiful thing because I see him as a source of like, okay, that's how you do it. But it's because I've gotten to the point where I fully have emotionally accepted that my saviors are ridiculous on their own.
mm,
I love them, they're great, whatever, but they're ridiculous on their own. So I'm
mm,
now looking to him as a source of information and positivity. So there's that. I actually have a real life blaster in my life, and I'm like watching him for tips because I'm just
mm,
going, oh my God, that was really good. Wow, he just texted that guy right there. Oh shit, he just walked up to the guy, communicated. Holy shit, I wouldn't have said anything. I would have just ignored the person. I would have been like, please don't talk to people. Please don't. Oh my God, please don't talk. And like
yeah,
he just goes right up, he fucking handles it. And it's so empowering to watch that. And I like will practice it, of course, the next go round and more and more and more. So it's very, very little steps over time, just because I get the privilege of watching somebody in my life manage shit that I don't do. So there's that. I have a partner that's the opposite type. It's amazing.
plus he
This
allows you
the
to blast
second,
as well. Yeah.
yes, exactly, exactly. The second thing, in specific like problem solving areas, number one being like disciplining my kid. That was a thing that I had a really hard time with because as a parent, I
Mm,
thought disciplining your kid, I'm not going to do it the way my dad did it, who's like double activated blast masculine. Like
mm,
I'm going to let them be more free. I'm going to let them be, open and do whatever. And like, it's so funny how fast that breaks down because you're like, cool, dipshit. They aren't getting out of the house. They aren't planning anything. They aren't scheduling their day. They're not getting their homework done. They need to be disciplined. Now what? I'm like, oh, I just wish that side of reality wasn't my responsibility.
mm,
So fast it breaks down because now your
yeah.
kid's a out of control idiot and it's your fault. And you now have to play the blaster role. And if you see the blaster role as bad, you're now bitter about it.
Yeah.
So what I had to do was look around, and this is what just how we play the objective game. I had to
Mm,
look around for, okay, who do I despise
mm,
that does this well? Who
mm,
do I think is just like, oh, I hate that. I don't want to be that. I want to
yeah.
do it differently. And I'm like, well, teachers, I hate the bullshit that teachers do. And I always said, like, I would do it different. They're idiots. I think it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like, and then I was like, oh shit, I'm literally going to have to play the stupid fucking games that I hated that the teachers would do. Like, okay, you got a plan. Here's your plan for the day. And you can check off the things that you've done. Okay, let's say all the like I had
Yeah.
to do that. I had to go full blown because I'm like, if these fucking ladies
Mm,
are managing 30 kids at a time, I should
yeah.
be able to take the same methods that they're using, sure, spiff them up a bit. That doesn't have to be sensorily perfectly accurate, but
Mm,
like take the same methods and use them on one kid. I should be able to do that. If that's being done in reality and it's working and it's been working for hundreds of years and
yeah.
they, like, yes, obviously it needs to be adjusted because not
Yeah.
everybody is the same fucking type, but it
Yeah.
still works
Yeah.
generally. I'm like, okay, uh, take that. And as
It's good
soon as
enough.
I
Take
start
this and
doing
run.
good enough,
Mm,
thank you. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm like, okay, as soon as I started doing that, where I started honing in, like, okay, making my kid do chores, making my kid have a very like intense schedule, and then even pushing responsibility on him to own
mm,
his schedule and actually create a plan for the day. Now I'm actually teaching him to blast, like just teacher style. Like I even had like a whiteboard with little
mm,
magnets and all that kind of shit. And you're like, wow, it's working. And now my kid is fulfilled because he's owning his demons. He's actually getting more freedom because he's
mm,
doing work at the beginning of the day and therefore play at the end of the day and just being able to thrive with the family and his friends more because now he's a man of his word because he's learning how to do planning. The amount that worked, and of course you have to do a lot of honing in over time.
yeah.
Of course, it's not going to
Mm,
work the second you fucking put a poster on the board and you're like, there, I did it. Like,
yeah.
yes, just like anything that you've mastered in your life, you have to go through like 10, versions of it before you're like, this is fucking flying. This is really, really working.
Yeah.
But
Prototyping.
that's
Yeah.
when, yeah, prototyping, exactly. But it's just choosing the responsibility and the consciousness to go, look, if it's working for somebody else in reality, I know this is so TE, I don't even care.
Yeah.
If it's working
Yeah.
for somebody
Go for
else
it.
in reality, it can work for me too. And I need
Yes.
to accept that, even though my
Yeah.
FI fucking hates it. I
Mm,
hate it, but that's
mm,
the right thing to do. And voila, all of a sudden you will start going, oh my God, this is working. That's so annoying. But
yeah.
I now have mad respect for what the teachers have to do. Even
Mm,
though, of course, I'll bite at them for stupid shit like, oh my God, you guys are so dumb. Why do you have so many fucking lesson plans? Narrow that shit
yeah.
down. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I still bite at that kind of stuff. But overall, I'm like, genius. What you are doing with your saviors is something I need to do more. And now I'm able to appreciate it because I was able to take something in objective reality, grab onto
Mm,
that and go, I need to be responsible for that. I can own that too.
yeah. Okay, so now I know that someone listening to this, like, right? So like, yes, 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 Shan. They'll have like this metal masturbation moment, and they'll go back doing demon blast. So so to
Totally.
them, give me like three names of people who are celebrities. Like, watch this guy and do this. Like copy this guy.
Okay.
Mm,
For blasters,
yeah, like,
well, it depends on what you're trying to solve. You can't just
uh,
follow, like, I'm
yeah,
following blasters, kindergarten teachers, because I'm trying to control and manage discipline for my kids. See how
uh,
specific that is?
mm, mm,
So, what are you trying to solve? What are you trying to do? Like, if I was trying to manage people in a dangerous situation, I would legitimately actually take advice from Dale Dye, even though in a lot of
yes,
areas I would not take advice from Dale Dye, but like, that's the kind of blaster I want telling me what to do when it comes to get your shit together. We need to survive.
yeah.
So
In like a work
it depends.
environment, let's say in a work.
Work,
Mm.
like you're working with other people. How do you
No,
communicate
like
better with?
professional life. Professional life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They'll die.
Um, No,
Okay.
because a large portion of work, I would assume, requires a lot of like also NF ownership.
Mm,
So I might actually go more towards, I don't know, Barbara Cochran, question
Uh,
mark, not sure.
uh,
Maybe not,
it's good. Yeah,
maybe
she's
not.
good. Yeah.
But
Mm.
like
Very
that
feminine blast. Yeah.
category, yeah, or Oprah, like I'd have to think about that one.
Okay.
Honestly, the game is you have to go who in reality, this is the objective game. This is the game that we play every day, all the time when we're trying to solve problems. Who
Okay.
in reality is winning at this thing? And then what is their system that they are using to consistently get those results? So
Interesting.
it depends on what you're trying to solve. What are you trying to solve? You know, if
Interesting.
I'm trying to
Okay.
solve finances, I'm going to go to somebody like Warren Buffett because that
Ah.
guy, and it would be more
Yeah.
like consistent results over time. I don't want to hear about the guy that won the lotto. Fuck that guy.
Mm.
That's not
Fuck him.
something that I
Yeah.
can apply. Yeah, fuck it. It's not something that I can apply universally and get anywhere. You know what I mean? It's who has consistent results over time. If I were to also apply those same consistent results, would I get to where they're at? Answer, if the answer is yes, then I'm going to now use those methods. Same
So.
thing with the military. Like that's why a lot of what we look to is like, wow, who has the ability to work together as a team? The Navy, the American Navy SEALs do. Holy shit, those guys are
Yeah.
fucking kick ass.
Yeah.
And Russian, I forget their name, but like the Russian Navy SEALs version is also pretty fucking kick ass. So you're like looking to that crew, and you're like, oh my god, what are you doing? What is the systems that are repeatable systems, and how are you doing that, and like how do you get people to that state
Mm.
where literally one man is willing to die for his brothers in that crew? That's huge. I can't even get somebody to stand in a line for somebody else. I can't even get somebody to communicate their work to the next guy, to the guy sitting next to them. How the hell are you getting guys to say I will die for you? What kind of family relationship are you creating? I
Mm.
want to create that for for my crew. I'm going to follow your methods. That kind of thinking.
Mm. The enough of what you're saying is find is basically find people who triggers you, but are doing what you want to do, but they are triggering you. So you like learn to like allow and accept them, and still appreciate the consequences of their blast. The positive
Right.
ones at least, and in that
But
you
you
get this
won't do
desire.
it. You won't do it unless you see the problem first. People do not
Mm.
take medicine that they don't have a quote unquote illness for, even though they have that
Yeah.
illness. If the person
Yeah.
does not
100%.
believe they are sick, they will not take the medicine. So you
Yeah.
could take all the fucking tips
Oh
in the
fuck.
goddamn planet, but
Yeah.
they're going to do fucking nothing unless you believe you have a
Yeah.
disease and it's actually burdening your mind. If
I
you are
should make
not
a Q&A
burdened
on
in
this.
your
Yeah.
yeah, like we have
Oh,
and when-
coming.
and in fact, I will be talking about this specifically.
Yes.
Stop arguing with squirrels is a concept,
Cool.
but like yeah, you cannot force someone to do something that they are not terrified, burdened by, scared about, whatever. They just won't do it. You can't deliver a problem. You can't deliver a solution to somebody who doesn't see the problem. Period. So
Yeah.
if you still think Consume is the good guy and Blast is the bad guy, you're not going to do it. So
Mm.
that would be the first problem to work on. Until you can get your own mind to actually see the problem, you're wasting your time getting started on solutions.
100%.
And
Man.
I spent
w-
years doing that. I
why
spent
are you so
years
awesome, Shan? Yeah.
becoming
I don't know. Like. Mm.
thanks, Preb. I spent a lot of years. Dave was always really good about bringing this around, and I spent so many years being like, "Okay, let's solve the problem." He's like, "Dick, you don't even really know the problem. What are you solving?
Mm.
You don't believe in the problem. What are you solving? What are you going to solve? Well, let's just slap some tips on it. It's not going to do anything, you know, because you'll know the right answer conceptually. You'll know it. I know the right thing to do is to do blast. And you're right. No one will do it. Why?
Yeah.
Because they don't see what a clown asshole that they actually are. They don't believe, they can't see it. They won't put themselves emotionally in someone else's shoes and go, oh my God, I just fucked that guy over so bad.
Mm. Because it's true. I've fucked so many guys over. Yeah,
Right.
relate hard. Mm, funny.
Right. Right. Won't do it because that causes pain.
Mm,
It causes pain to see what an ass clown that you've actually been to the people. And that's like you got to get really prepared once you start seeing how bad the shit is that you do. Like
yeah,
that's now like get
yeah.
in the habit of being able to emotionally like process, okay, growth mindset, growth mindset, growth mindset, growth mindset. Because once
Yo,
you can see how bad you are, you're like, oh my God, this is
talking.
horrible. I don't want to see this.
Yeah, I was talking to like a person with a demon blast. Yo, there's just the
Yeah.
consequences of blast. I feel you don't see it come. It first of all takes a long time for the thing tidal wave to build up. You have that bullshit,
Yeah.
and then it like
Right.
hits, and you're like, what the fuck, you know?
Right.
You're wasting a lot of
Right.
time, and it takes again like another 6 years to like work on the fucking blast. It's like a 10-year journey.
And that's okay as well. Like it's okay to not get everything all at once because honestly,
Yeah.
the way our brains are designed with the unconsciousness factor, like think of getting a scrape on your finger and you
Mm,
have the cut and like within days it's healed. That like the unconsciousness works like a healing of a cut, but even faster. Like you could go through a negative situation, take a fucking nap, and like 90% of the situation is going to be deleted from your mind. It has to be a pretty intense situation where the trauma is a larger scar on the brain so that the unconsciousness can't just heal it all in one swipe. But
mm,
it feels like the consciousness a lot of times is going over the same spot again and again and again and scarring so you can't go unconscious about that problem again. And that's
yeah.
why we talk about as soon as a problem happens, as soon as pain happens, like it feels like your brain and all the white blood cells are meant to rush to the problem and delete it as fast as possible. And you're like, ah,
Yeah.
no, stop. But like holding your hand to the fire, holding your hand to the pain,
Yeah.
staying conscious as long as you can, going to a whiteboard right fucking now while you're dealing with the pain allows you to stay as conscious as humanly possible because what you got to be scared about is that
Yeah.
the second you go to sleep or get distracted, your brain deletes everything that just happens and you go back unconscious and you go right back to doing everything the same way again. Oh my God. And
Mm,
this journey of like gaining consciousness is like, okay, hold your hand to the fire. The pain is here. Don't let it go away. Don't let it slip
yeah.
away. Go to a whiteboard, start writing out the concepts. What happened? Why? Where is it coming from? How am I always doing this? How is this a consistent pattern in my life? What things do I got to put into my life right now that I can set blocks down so that I can save my ass because I'm about ready to go unconscious and be a zombie in an hour?
Yeah.
How can I save that motherfucker and put a cage around that motherfucker because he's going to fuck me over?
Yeah.
He's going to screw me over. I'm going to get screwed over by me in the future, whether it's an hour, a day, a week, going blind. You're going to go blind, and I got to do something to save my ass while I'm awake right now. And a large portion of that would be like the second you're awake, coming up with actual, for me, like it feels like it's SI. It's like something in physical reality to trap myself so I don't fuck up in a week from now. Don't leave it in this like fart
Mm,
gas of intuition to where it's like, okay,
mm,
conceptually, I now understand and therefore I don't have to do anything. Like, no, literally send yourself a fucking email reminder. Change your phone habit.
mm,
Actually move your shoes to where they're in front of you or whatever, like something physical that
mm,
can actually trap your ass because
yeah.
you're going to go unconscious and you're not going to know. And it's been like these kinds of tricks, these kinds of like forcefulness and systematizing of playing the game of how to get conscious. And it just allows you to scar your brain to wake up over and over and over. Because I used to be very, 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 very unconscious, and of
Mm,
course had the addiction to no pain ever, and
yeah.
therefore like the whole my whole entire game was just living life very unconscious and very scared all the time because you
Mm,
constantly feel like something is shaking you and waking you up, so it's a
mm,
terrifying jolting feeling of adrenaline. And
mm,
it's just choosing to go, I don't want to do this life like this anymore, I want to fucking wake up. And then you
mm,
get in the habit of, you know, literally habitually going, okay, I'm now awake, wake myself up, write notes. And I would tell you today I have
mm.
so much consistent consciousness that I don't ever feel that way anymore. I don't feel that like waking up feeling. I don't feel
Uh,
that anymore. But it took a couple years. It took a few years of that habit of, oh my God, I'm awake, hold my hand to the fire, go to the board, write stuff down, talk with my partner, put something physical in place. Wow, that didn't work. That was bullshitty. Oh my God, let me do that again. Okay, that was bullshitty. That didn't work.
mm,
Okay, let me try this again. Each time I'm getting more conscious. Wow, this is traumatizing. Oh my God, I need to learn growth mindset because I'm just crying all the time because this is so traumatizing that I haven't learned it yet. Okay, let me do it again. And then just over time, it's like a slow, gradual process. I'm looking around, and today I don't feel that way anymore. And those habits of going, ah shit, something bad happened, fuck me, I'm such an idiot, okay, cool, I'll just put this system in place, and it's just a calm, normal thing instead of a zombie being woken up. It's
mm,
just different because you go through the process of scarring the brain to wake up.
yeah. Just tying this concept to like OPS concept, it feels like when you get hurt, your
Yeah,
unconscious like pulls you, but your unconscious are your saviors. And see, unconsciously you're doing your saviors. But to solve
right,
the problems, you
totally,
have to do your demons, which you
right,
need to be conscious for, because it's not your
right,
savior state, right? So
totally, totally.
yeah.
That's why most, and that, in my opinion, that's why most people, in fact, that's like, just thinking about that now, like that feels like that's why most people think that they are the opposite type, because their
Mm,
brain will like wake up because of the pain of having to experience or do their demons. And so that's the only time they're fucking conscious. So they're like, that's me. It's like, asshole, what you are doing all day is just unconscious autopilot saviors.
yeah.
You don't know about it, but everybody around you has to experience the void that you're leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, awareness.
Yeah.
When I was like learning this word consciousness, it felt like a woo woo word, but it's like a very literal sensory word. That you're aware of
Yeah.
this moment. It's not
Yeah.
like some material shit. Mm,
Yeah, consciousness feels very NE like to me. It
yeah,
feels like a multiple different conceptual programs all being able to hit into each other. And it's like you have to use time, you have to use results, you have to use data, physical reality, you have to use the tribe, you have to use partners, you have to use man of my word. I said I was going to do this. You also have to
yeah,
track your own emotional state. You have to track the tribe's emotion. The amount of programs, time, space, repetitive patterns. Am I moving up on this planet? Am I meeting and reaching goals? All of these different multi programs are talking to each other. And if it's like, if I say that's an apple, is everything else and everyone else in my worldview able to also agree that that's an apple?
mm,
How are you able to come to something in a conclusionary way? Are you able to
mm,
point at something and we all are able to get on board? it's
mm,
it's a very any like experience. It feels like the more trajectories you have pointing at something, the more truth and the more reality that it gives to that
yeah,
thing. It's able to see this is that thing. It is true. The problem is, here's the crazy problem, is that so many people are able to be so off because everyone else is also so fucking unconscious.
mm,
That's the problem. So you like, and it's so bad. Like once you start seeing it, you're like, oh my God, humanity, oh my God. Watching two people talk to each other on an interview, it just
mm,
makes me want to like throw rocks at windows. Like it's like, oh
yeah,
my God, you're not even saying anywhere near the same thing. But because both dipshits are both their saviors, and
mm,
they're just going, yeah, this, and just
mm,
tossing the words, and it just goes right over the other guy's head.
yeah,
And they're like, yeah, totally, I get you, toss. And like the
mm,
words just go right over the other guy's heads, and no one is actually talking to each other. No
yeah.
one. They're
This is where you
just,
do the this is where you do the Lewis house shit where you randomly just start scratching, just so that
yeah,
something. Yeah, boom.
yeah, like I'm not listening anymore. I have no idea what you're, there's not actual, we're not meeting in a space of reality. Is our words connecting? Is what I'm saying making it
Mm,
through to your pea brain? And are you able to take that and actually go, fuck, in my life, I see what you're saying and I'm not doing that. The majority of the time, and I mean like fucking 99.9%, nobody actually knows what the hell the other person's saying. This is why a
Yeah.
lot of times you'll see couples get divorced, but it'll only be after like a decade or so where they're like, oh my God, I finally see you and I fucking don't like you.
Yeah.
That's
Boom,
what ends up happening because
Yeah.
like what will start happening, here's the crazy ass thing, is that large portions of reality, objective reality, will start coming and knocking at the door.
Mm,
Kids are a big one. Kids, because there's so much objective reality that starts forcing itself onto two people that are interacting, where it's like, are your kids out of control or not? Yes. Oh
oh,
shit. I don't like the way you discipline the kids. Well, I don't like the way you talk to the kids. And like the amount of now points of consciousness that have just jumped into reality, I'm like, oh shit, I now
mm,
can see you. I now
mm,
can see you more. I was believing all this bullshit lies that you were saying, and I believe the bullshit lies that I was saying. But now consciousness is becoming more aware because there's more points of triangulation. Oh shit.
points of triangulation.
Yeah. Because what is consciousness? A Japanese hair guy has the same, like when we were starting to kind of form our own understanding of consciousness, like we realized, oh, that guy's basically saying the same shit we are. So he seems to have the same idea where it's just lots of different firing programs. And the more different points of firing programs that you can see at something, it gives context of reality. Otherwise, everyone is just an astronaut in space floating tethered to
Mm,
nothing,
mm,
and nothing is calling you out because you have no point of reference. You're in black outer space. There's 0 points of reference. You don't exist and nothing else exists.
mm,
But the second you have another astronaut, you're like, okay, that's some points of reference. I
mm,
have this much distance between me and him. Okay, so there's that distance. He sees me and says that I'm about the same size as him. It feels that way. Well, how do we know? Our eyeballs align. Okay, so there's another point of reference. Okay, but we're still two idiots out in space. I don't know if we're big. I don't know if we're small. I don't have any other points of reference. How do I know that we even exist?
yeah.
And as soon as you start adding more and more and more points of reference, oh, there's a spaceship. Oh, there's a moon. Oh, there's other planets, and those are larger than us, and they are this far away from us. Okay, so now
Mm,
we have Earth, and it took us this long to get here to outer space from here to Earth. So there's another point of reference, distance. And the Earth is this big, and the animals on Earth are this size. And now there's all these different points of reference that gives you
yeah.
more existence. You have now more existence, and therefore you can see self, and you can see self in response to others. And now
Yeah.
you have more existence, therefore more consciousness. And the more that you can see and tap into those different points of reference, I think the more consciousness you have. So
Yeah.
if you're a two function, I'm sorry, one function fucking idiot, where you run
No
around
function.
all day going, oh my God, I fucking love my first function, drunk on saviors. You
Mm,
just, it's not that the planets and the earth and the tethering and all of these things don't exist. You're just not seeing them. And
yeah.
to me, that's terrifying. Unconsciousness is terrifying. And I lived the majority of my life up until this point extremely unconscious. And
Mm,
now, having seen that, like separating myself from that, I'm like, oh my God, that's terrifying. And watching the majority of humans be largely unconscious, you just get this feeling of like, you're on a bus. I mean, if you ever have to rely on anybody that's unconscious, you're on a bus and they're driving the bus and they're asleep. That's what it feels like. And you're like,
But
oh my
mm,
God.
yeah, but notice this, Shan. I feel it's a very beautiful journey, because think about it.
Yeah,
It's like the way it all starts is like there's like a soul, like here's an enough analogy, right? There's like a soul in heaven, which is surrounded by other souls, right? There's a being of light surrounded by other light, but this light cannot see itself, right? Because it's like when
right,
you put a candle flame in front of sun, the candle flame cannot see itself, right?
right.
So this being of light goes to God and says, "Hey God, I want to like see myself. I want to know myself. I want to experience myself. Do something." And
Yeah,
the God says to the soul, for you to know what you are, You need to know what you are not. Pushes the soul to darkness.
Yeah.
Now this
Yeah.
soul is stuck in darkness and looking at God and saying, "What the fuck, God? Why have you abandoned me? Why have you forsaken me?
Right.
Why did you leave
Right.
me between this darkness?" But it's like only in this darkness can you really see yourself. It's like you're entering a room.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
you're entering a dark room, and then
Right.
most people give up. They're like, "Oh fuck, this is a reality." But some people have
Totally.
hope. Oh, there might be switches that turn on some light. For some
Right.
people it's money, sex, whatever, right? And they like start searching for switches, desperately because they have like
Yeah.
this hope. And suddenly like the light turns on and they like finally experience the light. But here's the thing though, they can only experience the light and get the joy of experiencing the light if they are in darkness. I find beauty in
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly it. Because the only reason I'm so happy about this consciousness is because of the contrast of non-consciousness. The
Yeah.
joy of experiencing what I have now is a gift instead of just default. Because I
Mm.
had to fight for it, I had to earn it, I had to go through the depth and the pain of it, and then also know what it was like, the darkness, know what it's like to not have it. Absolutely. So it
Yeah.
becomes a gift. It doesn't feel like it at first. It feels like,
Yeah.
especially
Burden.
people that
Yeah.
are like woken up. It feels like this is sad, and largely because what ends up happening is they will awake and the family and friends around them don't, and that's what
Mhm.
becomes very, very sad, because you feel very alone. But it's still that whole process, of course, is made more beautiful because you weren't just given it by for free.
Yeah, because once you like see it, you realize everyone else also has an opportunity to experience this, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But if they were happy and if the happiness was the benchmark, no one would have any opportunity to even experience this, you see.
Right. Totally.
Mm.
Very, very much so. And some people make it their whole lives very, very unconscious and they are still happy. So
Yeah.
it's,
Fuck them. Yeah.
fuck them. No, it's one of those things where it's like, I let the squirrels be squirrels. I don't yell at squirrels either. I don't get mad at birds because they're less conscious. It's like they're just a different species and they're a different role on the planet.
Wow. You're coming from this place of unconditional acceptance and love, yeah. You're seeing beauty even in this. Wow. That's great.
And of course, what becomes hard, back to the first part of our conversation, what becomes hard is the desire. I desire that my family and my friends are
Mm.
awake so they can join me in this other world of consciousness.
Yo,
That's
that
what gets sad, and what gets hard is the desiring.
thank you, because this is what I forgot to ask. As what I realized, I see all these people go and like, okay, we have like the blast, we have to figure out, right? But what I find even harder is sparking the desire, because
Yeah, I
that
know.
is fucking exponentially harder than just telling a person, "Oh, you're in darkness, dude. You're stuck.
Yeah,
Get the fuck
yeah,
out of here." All that bullshit. But no, are you
yeah,
able to inspire this person to even instill this desire so like, this guy can like go figure out, because information is there. He doesn't have to listen to you.
yeah.
But can you like spark a desire, and I want to like figure that out. Fuck.
Are you talking about how do you adjust desire? Is
No,
that what
no,
you're
no. I want to like. How do you like? It's like the Chris Voss shit. You remember Chris Voss? He's like, oh, I told us when the suicide guy like thanked him.
Yeah,
He told it. He's like, yo, dick, the fuck. Now he's gonna die. Because
yeah,
he thinks you helped him, but the way you talk to them is they think they helped themselves, and you're
yeah.
creating like a desire within. Oh shit, I can actually do this, and then you like push them, and then they figure it out because the desire is strong enough.
Okay, so you're just saying, how do you inspire people's will to move to change? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, okay, here's my solution to it. What I really seem is what I really I tried searching for this a lot, right? And the answer really seems to be lead by example. So if you
Yeah,
just
definitely.
lead your life consciously, now
Yeah.
someone else has an opportunity to look at you and said, "Oh shit, I want to like be like Shan," you
Yes,
know?
that's the only way that you'd be able to do it. Because in my opinion, you cannot inspire,
Yeah,
by telling, and that's again back to stop arguing with squirrels.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
we have largely put our efforts into gathering the conscious instead of creating the conscious. Um, Now, of course, you could say that maybe some people wouldn't have woken up had they not heard one of our videos, but you could also argue and say that that person was already seeking, because why did they find our videos? It's a
Yeah.
very, very fine line. And I don't even try and solve that one, because I have gotten to the point where I my own self have let go, and I have said, I'm just
Wow.
going to pick up the survivors. I'm just going to pick up the people that are in the middle of the ocean that are asking for a life raft. I'm not
Yeah.
going to bonk on the heads of people that are drowning and say, "Hey, you're drowning," because
Mm,
there's so many other people that are already waking up. I just want to find them. If you
yeah.
know you're drowning and you want to be saved, I would rather help the people that are already drowning, trying to live. So I
Yeah.
call it like, this is what I'll be talking about in a Q&A. Like, the policy that I've given myself, and this is for the last few years, is I call it 49-51. If you are
Yeah.
ready,
Mm,
yeah, I think I've told you the same thing
yep.
probably.
We know this. I know this very well. Yeah.
Right. So it's that, because the second you start moving 1% more into bonking on someone's head and telling them that they need survival, they shut down.
Yeah. But could you just tell me
They
about
sh-
the 4951 though? I know about it, but yeah.
yeah, the 49-51, it's just that if somebody else is already saving themselves, if they're already swimming to the life raft
Mm,
51% of the way, and you can see they have results in action over time, then you can start paddling towards them. But don't you dare fucking paddle towards somebody that's drowning, that are like, "Nope, I'm good." And you're like, "No, no, no, brother, I need to tell you, you're drowning." "No, I'm fine." "No, no, I can see that you're drowning." And the crazy ass thing is, you'll see somebody that'll be like, "I kind of am. Can you help me?" And you're like, "Okay, yay." And then like you start paddling over to them, and then they're like, "Just kidding, I'm fine right now." You're like,
mm,
"Fuck. Oh my
yeah.
God." And like,
Yeah.
you have to get to the point where you can recognize what it really looks like for somebody who is desperate for consciousness, desperate to help themselves survive. Because you can see it. Once somebody
Mm,
is like, "I'm fucking going to win no matter what it takes. If you help me, great. If you don't, I'm going to win anyways." And that's who we're looking for, is those that are already aggressively going, "Fuck you, motherfucker. I will swim to your damn boat, whether you can see me, whether you help me or not." And like, largely, I know I say 49-51, but like what it's kind of turned out to be now,
mm.
now updated version is like 90-10, motherfucker. You swim 90% of the way. I will help you 10% of the way. Help me
Mhm.
more than you
Yeah.
could ever imagine. My 10%.
Yeah. Don't worry, Shan. Like 5 years later, we'll make it 99.1. Like fuck you, do the 99% work, and I'll maybe like the 1% right here.
Right. Right.
But
It's hard. It's hard
this
because
is
all
where
you want
my
to do.
NF, yeah, but this is where my NF gets feminine though, because
Yeah.
at least for me, you do a lot more than you really have to.
Right,
Even
right,
this,
right.
even this call, you are actually going way more than 49%, but you have to like,
Exactly. Yes.
but
But of course,
you have to put
the
that front, you
sensor
see.
is not right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but that's also I think that's what like gives the value when you do go, when you do help. I think that's what gives the value, because when you're like, you know what, motherfucker, swim 90%, I'll help 10%, but
Right,
oh, they have it locked down, and then you can help them, and they'll actually value it. But
right,
if you like
exactly.
say, oh, I will, oh, you know what, just swim 49%, or just swim
Right,
51%, I'll take care of
right.
41. They're like, yo,
Right.
what the fuck? You're not helping me.
I think largely, I'll say this and then I do have to actually go, but
Yeah, yeah.
I'll say what happens is largely it's giving yourself permission to go, "You know what, this motherfucker is not actually showing growth. So I will obviously be there for a phone call. I will obviously give to them." But like, once I finally start realizing, because it's a lot of times it takes like a realization later, that the other person is not going above and beyond, it's like permission to self to be like, "All right, cut them off. Stop helping." And that's
Mm.
when I'll be like, "Hey, I'm busy. I can't. I am not able to make that phone call." Like, I just basically don't be as easily available as I used to be. That's all it is.
Wow, this is something. This is a plat that I have to incorporate. Yeah, like I'm learning. Yeah, this is a boundary also. It's
Yeah.
like a very steep plat. Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. It's still hard for me, but it's
Mm.
something that I'm continuously pushing myself to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, buddy. I
All
gotta
right.
go,
Yep.
but oh my
Thank you for the
gosh,
call.
amazing as always. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for you. And oh my gosh, like lots of good, lots of positivity, and
Yeah. Wouldn't be
all the
possible
good
without you, you
outgoing
know.
things. Yeah. All right, buddy. Well,
All
keep me
right.
updated on how your server and all that good stuff goes. And yeah, buddy,
Cool.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Okay. Bye, you too.